Friday, disorientation. God is not distant or impassive to the pain and confusion we are left with, but is a real and present comforter among us. Jamie Arpin Ricci. Anger, sadness, fear, shame. These are some really big feelings swirling around. No wonder we're weary. While they look different for each of us, the thread woven through them all is usually the same. They leave us feeling lost and confused. Things definitely aren't how we want them to be. We aren't sure of the way out, and it's tiring. For many of us, when we experience a significant shift in our life or faith, we lose all we once knew. We also lose the structures and groups we belong to and the relationships tied to them. Those losses are difficult, but the one that gets us the most is usually what comes at the end of losing all we once knew, our identity. Who are we when we're not who we used to be? Who are we when we are consumed with these incredibly vulnerable feelings? Who are we when we no longer belong to groups or systems in which we used to find safety and shelter? Who are we when we aren't sure anymore that we even believe what we even believe about God? While Advent is a season of waiting for the birth of Jesus for a month, Christmas Eve is when the story is supposed to come together with Jesus' arrival. This can be confusing for a lot of us who are still left with the same realities Christmas morning, and the day after that, and the day after that. I think we've done a disservice by not acknowledging that feelings don't magically disappear when we hit a certain date on a calendar. Many biblical stories point to being lost and then found, suffering from disease and being miraculously healed, or transitioning from unbelief to belief in a matter of seconds. I appreciate the stories and believe we're supposed to wrestle with them together, but when I'm feeling lost and confused, false platitudes to quickly shake me out of my genuinely tangled up feelings don't help. I know a lot of you are tired and weary from working so hard, fighting so hard, struggling so much to keep putting one foot in front of the other with no end in sight. We started this week with the phrase, "a voice crying out in the wilderness," from Mark 1. The wilderness can be a disorienting and often terrifying place. Usually there's no roadmap or markers, no clear shelters, and wild animals and elements aren't only scary, but are often also working against us. It's easy to get lost in the wilderness. Even though we might feel alone, we have a comforter among us and a lot of fellow travelers in this wilderness. What do you feel lost and confused about right now?